So I want to preface what this video isn't and what this video is. This video is not one of those articles you read on HuffPo that tell you how awesome you are, how, unicorns exist, a fantasy world. Don't worry about it, women. You don't need men. This isn't it. Let me tell you what this is. This is a video coming from a guy who was 22, 23-year-old playboy that would go to Vegas 26 times a year. I partied religiously, and then eventually I became a high-valued man. I realized my value in the marketplace, and I stopped playing, and I wanted a wife and build a family, and that transition I went through. Now, a couple things. Not a marriage counselor, not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist. I'm simply sharing my philosophies with you, some which is going to piss you off. You're gonna be upset, but this is a video specifically for both men looking to go out there and be a high value man, and for women saying, I would like to find a high value man. Having said that, let's get right into it. Okay, so ladies, first thing you gotta know is whose life do you want to model? There are a few different options you have. One, do you wanna be one of those women that says, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I make my own money, I'm a girl boss, I'm a girl this, I read these books written by women who've been divorced 5 times. If that's who you want to be, fantastic. That's one model. The other one is, honestly, I just want to find somebody who is rich, successful, and I want them to be the husband, the money maker. I don't want to work, I want to stay home, I want to just have kids, and that's all I want to do. No problem. The other one could be, well, I want to model after these women who are going out there partying hardcore. Yeah, maybe they're single moms and they've had 3 kids, 4 kids by 4 different men, but they've had a time of their lives. You can model that life as well. Or the last one maybe, I don't know, Pat, I kind of have my own identity, I have my own interests, I have my own career, but I know I want to have a man who is the alpha of the family, who is the high value man. I'm not trying to compete with them. I want to be a co-pilot. He's the leader in the area of our family where we're going, and I'd like to build something like that with him. Fantastic. You got choices. And by the way, I'm sure there's a lot of different options on who you want to model after out of those 4 women. You get to pick and choose. It's your prerogative. You're an adult. You choose. Now, before you go out there looking for high value men, it's very important for you to know how they're wired. If you don't know how they're wired, you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know how to find them. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Gold Co. Look, if there's one thing we agree on, you and I, if you follow this content, is we believe future looks bright, right? We think everything's going to work itself out. We just don't know how the economy is going to be today because you don't control the Fed, you don't control the stock market, you don't control the government. You had 1 vote. So we make the right decision, not knowing what's going to happen to the economy next. So whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, cards, art, or gold, my biggest suggestion is over the years, I've always had gold because I believe you don't know what's going to happen. Gold hedges great against inflation. These are strange times with inflation. Gold hedges great against a drop of fiat as a currency. All of those things are a way of hedging and protecting yourself against the loss. We looked at a lot of different companies in gold to team up with. This took a couple years for us, but my friends who used to work at Gold Co. that I've known for 15 years told me they're a very credible company. They're great at what they do. They deliver. We made reference calls, and we chose to team up with these guys. They got thousands of positive reviews of people that have done business with them. So if you are considering buying some gold or silver, give our partner at Gold Co. a call today to learn more about protecting your savings. And as a Valuetainment viewer, you could get up to $10,000 in free silver. That's right, $10,000 in free silver. So when it comes down to precious metals, reputation matters. That's why we chose Gold Co. Give them a call or click on the link below, goldco.com/PBD. So let's go through 10 different things on how high value men are. Number 1, high valued men have many options. You are not the only option. They have a lot of options. They generally could be talking to 4, 5, 6, 7 different women at the same time. This doesn't mean they're being promiscuous with everybody, but they have a lot of options. It's tough to find high-valued men. High-valued men are very, very attractive. It's like the hottest girl in high school. How many men were chasing her? High-valued man, 28 years old, 26 years old, 35 years old. A lot of women are chasing him as well. Number 2, when it comes down to high-valued men, these are not desperate men. They have a lot of options. The last thing you're going to feel from is desperation. So if you miss that 22-year-old guy that was all over you, clinging on you, you're not going to get it from these types of men. If you want that, they're out there. If you want something like this, you're probably not going to get that from them. Number 3, this is a tough one to embrace. Their marketability and their value is just going to go up. The more they age, the more they succeed, the more they win, their marketability and value is going to keep going up. So you just got to keep that part in mind. There's not going to be declining. There's just constantly going to be increasing. the better they get, the wiser they get, the more they succeed. Number 4, they don't chase, they attract. So meaning, they don't mind courting because they want that. They want to court, they want to go through that process, but they're not chasers. So you know the whole thing of, let me do this 3 calls, he did this, I can't call him back, I can't pick up. If he does this, they don't play the chasing game. They're constantly attracting good people in their lives. They're not turned on by games. Number 5, they're typically very confident. This doesn't mean they don't have any insecurities. This doesn't mean they walk on water. This doesn't mean they don't have any anxieties or different things like that. They may never share it with you, but you're gonna get a feeling being around them that they're very, very confident. Why? Because to get that level of natural confidence takes years and years of hours to put into it, to believe you are valuable, that you produce that type of confidence. Number 6, they take care of their body. This doesn't mean they're all bodybuilders with 6-packs, but generally a high-value man, they exercise, they have a decent diet, they don't fool around when it comes down to that. Doesn't mean it's perfection, but they do take care of their body, so they expect their women to also take care of their body. Number 7, they're not needy, they're not clingy, they're not constantly seeking your approval, and some want that. Some want their men to constantly be seeking their approval. You're generally not gonna get a lot of that from a high-value man. Number 8, they have life goals. They're going places. They have a vision. They want to go out there and do something big. So if you are expecting this person to be at home at 5 o'clock every night because that's what your dad did, the question you have to ask yourself is, you may love your dad, but was your dad a high-value man? If the answer is no, he was just a good man, it's very different than a high-value man that's got big goals in their lives that they're in the hunt with. You can't say, well, I want him to be like my dad and be home at 5 o'clock, but I want him to be thinking big. There's a big conflict there. You have to understand that part. Number 9, they take responsibility. If they're gonna screw up, they're gonna take responsibility. If this is a real man that's a real leader with the right character, they take responsibility when they screw things up, and they'll generally improve. Last but not least, you have to know when you do become a high-value man, you've already been through a lot of different relationships. You know the game, you see the signs, they understand certain red flags. Yeah, I don't know about this. And they know when you're faking it or acting too much to make sure you seem perfect. They've been through that as well. So they're not turned on by those games. They know the game, they understand the game, they play the game. They just want to retire away from the game because they want to have a family. They have bigger plans with a person that they want to run with. So understand that part, that they're very clear about how the game goes. So now, before I get into the 20 rules of young women when it comes down to dating high-value men, you got to know a couple things. There's different places that we meet people nowadays, right? And it's very different than when it was in year 2000 or 1995. Today, there's Tinder and Bumble, there's bars and clubs, there's business where you work at, through friends and church, right? Now, there's a statistic that came out talking about what type of percentages of a relationship and marriages work out the most. Here's what it said on a study they did based on 2,000 different people. The article is titled, Relative Strangers, The Importance of Social Capital for Marriage. The study found that 12% of couples who meet online get divorced within the first 3 years of marriage, compared to 2% of couples who meet through friends and family. And after 7 years, these statistics are roughly 17% and 10%. So now, the reason why this is important as well is to know when it's online dating, there's only so much a person can learn about you, you know? If it's through friends, church, different places, you're able to learn more about this person because you can ask around saying, what do you know about her? What do you know about him? What can you tell him about him? So also know where you're marketing yourself or where you're looking for. If you go into Tinder to find a husband, just know what he's looking for. You should not be surprised if he comes in asking you day one to go home with him, because Tinder is typically, the expectation is one. Now, some people will say, you're wrong. I met my husband on Tinder and we've been together for 6 years. I don't solve my success in life based on exceptions. There are exceptions to everything. I want higher odds of success, and the higher odds of success is if you date through Tinder and Bumble, the higher likelihood of getting a divorce is a lot higher than going through friends and other places. So just keep that part in mind. Having said that, let's get right into it. 20 rules for young women when it comes down to dating high-value men. Let's get right into it. Number 1, if you see men as the enemy, good luck finding a high-value man. Simple as that. You cannot see men as the enemy. Why do I say this? A lot of times mothers who went through a divorce and maybe married a man who didn't treat them well, they indirectly put that mindset into their daughters. Their daughters at 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old have heard how many times that mom has talked smack about the dad. Eventually the daughter becomes a 22-year-old woman who sees men as the enemy. If you see them as enemy, good luck finding a high-valued man. Number 2, if you do land a high-valued man and you start dating him, the job has just begun. This isn't about, oh my God, I'm dating Larry. Do you realize how awesome he is? He's a high-valued man. Let's see if you can keep him. Let's see if you can keep him. Just because you got him doesn't mean you got him forever. This is work. You know, it's not like you're good for 3 months and we can act for 3 months. 6 months later, the truth shows up. A year later, wait a minute, who am I dating here? And then eventually you're like, maybe you dated him for a year, maybe for a year and a half, but you can't keep a guy like that. You got to make sure you can keep a high-value man, not just attract a high-value man, which means it's work. Both sides, it's work. We got to do our part. You got to also do your part. Number 3, body count matters. By the way, men may not tell you, but it matters, okay? When a person, I'm doing a job interview with them and they tell me in their resume they've had 20 jobs in the last 10 years, I don't want to hire them because there's a reason why they've had 20 jobs in 10 years, okay? They can't keep somebody together. The other part, you know how when you go out there and you're just hooking up, having a lot of one-night stands left and right, thinking no one's going to tell anybody? A man who hooks up with you for one night and you say, let's keep it between us, his level of loyalty is 0 to you, meaning he'll brag about hooking up with you to his friends and his peers because he owes you nothing. There is no such thing as a one-night stand keeping it secret. It's going to lead to other people. So if you do that constantly, people are going to know. A high-value man's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to pump the brakes here. You're not for me. I like you a lot, but not for serious relationship. You ever heard of saying a woman can tell within the first 30 seconds to a minute whether they're going to sleep with the man or not? You ever heard that part before? A man will also tell very quickly whether this is a girlfriend that they're going to show off to their friends or family, or if this is just somebody they're going to have fun with, okay? They will know very, very quickly on how you carry yourself. When it comes down to having class, you either have class or you don't have class. One can't act classy. Here's what I mean by it. Back in the days when I was 21, 22, I would go to these financial meetings acting like I'm well off financially, I'm doing very good for myself. Maybe I can fake it for 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. But about an hour later, the client found out this guy's broke, wearing DSW shoes, wearing a 3-day suit broker suit, and Ross tie. He has no clue what he's talking about. This guy doesn't have any money. Work on having real class, real values, real principles, because there's no need to act. It's real. So this next one's not going to be very popular, but it is what it is. So let's just say you have a high-value man that you really like, and he's in a relationship for about a year. You come in, and somehow, some way, he likes you. You become the side chick. He drops the girl he's with to be with you. So now he is with you. 6-12 months later, don't be surprised and upset if he's got a side chick. This relationship started off with you being a side chick. You can't be not surprised saying, I can't believe he's got a side chick. You just may not be the person that he's willing to settle down with. You just may be somebody that he just wants to have fun with. So look, just because somebody's a high-value man doesn't mean this person wants to settle down and get married today. Maybe their timeline is 5 years, 3 years, 8 years, 10 years. There's a part of it that's on you to see if there's any signs that this man is eventually going to want to do that, or if they're just having fun, okay? And that part, there's not a manual to it. There's not a book to read about it. It's purely intuition. It's gut. You'll know about it. When you get that feeling, trust it. But don't jump to conclusion too early. Maybe give it a month or 2 or 3 before you say, no, this one's not going anywhere. I do want to have a family right now. I can't wait for this guy. My time is coming. Make your decision, move on, but just know it's going to come down to your intuition. This next one is a little amateurish, but a lot of women do this, and I don't recommend it. Never brag about how great your man is in bed, okay? Never. I can't tell you to you from a personal story. I had one, she would do that. All her cousins would call me and wanted to find out what it was like. I don't know if that makes sense. Don't brag about how great your man is in bed. If he's great in bed, and if she's great in bed, keep it to yourself. It's nobody else's business. This next part is something you've heard a million times. You know, you control everything because he has what you want, right? He has what you want. You set the tone, you set the standard. And this, well, you know, this is no longer the 60s. Who cares about the first date? You choose what the standards are. But the sooner you get intimate, it just means you don't value it that much. And a man may sit there and say, well, that was kind of really quick. How many other people were you this quick with? Value it. Take your time before you decide to just give it up that easily. I think it was Steve Harvey that says, wait 90 days. I don't know what timeline he put, that book that he said, think like a lady, act like a man, or something like act like a lady, think like a man. Great book. If you haven't read it, read the book. His timeline, I believe, is 90 days. But do protect it. Don't give it up that easily. This next one about OnlyFans, it's so funny. I'm doing a business meeting in Long Beach, California. This one girl gets up, drop dead gorgeous. She asked me questions. Times are really hard in real estate. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. I'm going through this. And I look at her and I said, look, there's a lot of people right now that are being tempted to make money through OnlyFans. she starts crying, okay? Like literally, she starts crying. So when she cries, you already kind of have an idea she was also either tempted or she did it because it's easy money to make. When you're that beautiful, go make your $50,000, $100,000 a month, right? It is a choice you can make. But there's a very big difference between you doing that. Those things are permanent. You have to explain it to your kids, to your husband, to everybody when that becomes public. Unfortunately, back in the day, say if somebody did something like OnlyFans, there wasn't a camera where everything's gonna be public, social media, Instagram. It's a very different ballgame today. A man who has another girl that's on OnlyFans may have fun with her, may even be interested in having fun with her. But it's different when it's coming down saying, I wanna build a family with this person. Again, well, that's not true. I know somebody that did this. I'm going with odds. I'm not going with the exception. Make sense? So this next one is very interesting. I have seen a lot of men who are high value, they've been around them for a very long time, but I've also seen when a guy's dating a girl and then publicly she makes a comment to embarrass him that's a very personal, embarrassing comment, and then a month later he breaks up with her. It's like, she just doesn't understand the dynamics that you never publicly embarrass your man, especially if he's a high octane, high value man. You just don't publicly embarrass them. When you do that, do it privately. Hey babe, I don't like the way you handled yourself. That was not cool. Have the conversation with them. Do not do it publicly. That will not go well. So you have a high valued man. This doesn't mean every pressure needs to be on him. He knows you bring a lot of value to the table as well, okay? So what could that thing be? Could be finances, could be family, it could be faith, it could be fitness, it could be relationship, it could be a lot of different things. But you have to bring your own dynamic to the table as well. That is an area of strength that's not his. So what are some areas you bring to the table? You can have some confidence from that area when they say, this is what I do well. I'm gonna be able to do this, I'm gonna be able to do this, I'm gonna be able to do this. Fantastic. Trust me, a man's gonna sit there and say, that's very valuable to me. Man, I'm so glad she brings that to the table, because I don't. Listen, reputation matters. I understand we hear about, reputations, what other people say about you, but characters, who you really are. Your reputation matters when it comes down to dating high value men. Men are gonna call around and say, what can you tell me about her? What are you gonna do about her? He's gonna call around. And if he doesn't, he's not doing his part. The high value man that I know is gonna be calling and saying, hey, this girl, has she been this? Has she done that? Has she done that? And then people are gonna be talking, I remember one time she dated that guy, that one time we went out, she was drunk and she did this and she did that. Okay, cool, you're not expecting for perfection, because if any girl that seems a little too perfect, she's probably got a lot of things filled in the closet. Generally, there's gonna be something, but protect your reputation, because it's gonna follow you. Never bash your exes. It doesn't matter what it is. Never bash your exes. If you bash your last 3 exes, I'm gonna be the 4th one, and I'm not interested in that. Hey, how come your last relationship didn't work? Honestly, we were just on different pages. He wasn't somebody I saw myself being with long term. Good guy, his own thing, not interested. We went separate ways. And, I'm just not, don't sit there and say, he was this, he was an idiot, he was a moron, he was a this. Not attractive. Don't say it in a way where she's like, you sound like you kind of are interested in. But don't also go out there and bashing the guy, talking about how big of a loser he is. Your social media profiles matter. If I go on your social media profile and I'm like, okay, there's 1 butt picture, 2 butt picture, 3 butt picture. Man, she's like all over the place. What is this all? Oh my God, there's a bong, there's this, there's that. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with her. No one's gonna meet this girl. This is just a girl that I'm gonna have fun with. So protect your social media profile, because they're gonna look. If you have interest in competing with your man and beating him, like, you know what, I'm gonna do better than him in business and I'm gonna do this, don't expect to find an alpha male, high value man. You're probably gonna end up with a beta male who's gonna be okay with you beating them. Because alphas, they have no interest in competing with their wives. They want to lead their girls. That's what they want to do. So this next one, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this. You're so old school. Men are not interested in you having male friends. Well, Pat, how about if it's just one? No, he's gay. I don't care. He may change his mind. Pat, come on, Pat, you can't say that. I'm telling you. Even if he tells you he doesn't care, he cares, okay? But I've known him from high school, from 2nd grade, from 1st grade, even worse. You're mine, I'm yours, let's roll. I'm not interested in you talking to other men. This is so extreme. You're such a machismo saying this. Don't worry about it. I'm just telling you. I'm around these types of men all the time. They're not interested in you having too many male friends. And too many is one. If you and this man date for a few months and it's getting serious, in his mind at one point, if he wants to get to the next level with your marriage, engagement, all this stuff, he's asking, what kind of a mother are you going to be? He'll be watching you. And the way he'll judge what kind of a mother you'll be is how you treat him, okay? How you treat your younger siblings. These are ways that they're watching to see what kind of a mother you'll one day be, because that's something they value a lot. So if he doesn't take you in public places, around friends and family, he likes you for fun, but he doesn't want to be seen in public with you as his girlfriend, okay? May sting, may hurt, but many men have done that. I've done that myself. Had fun, a few months I'm with a girl, no one ever knew about it, because I just knew we're never going to be long-term together. We're just having fun. So you know this whole thing about virginity, you know, no, I'm not telling you to be a virgin and all this stuff. I'm not telling you that. You choose to do that based on your faith, that's up to you. Many do, I'm not telling you that. But what I am saying to you is the following. So a guy goes out with two different girls. One girl's like, oh my God, I've never been to this restaurant before. Oh my God, I've never been to this spa before. Oh wow, this is the first time ever I was on a private jet. I've never flown first class before. Oh, I loved Santorini. This was amazing. Cinque Terre, great. Never been to Dubai, amazing. So the guy's like, oh yes, yes. He's feeling good because he wants to give you the world, right? Show you the world, right? The other one, he goes, I was here 2 months ago. Honestly, the food wasn't that good tonight. Okay. Hey, yeah, this resort is good, but I like the spa more in Beverly Hills. Oh my God. You are so annoying. Go find somebody else. I'm not the guy for you. Now, let's just say she has been around and she says, oh, I've been to this restaurant before, but oh my God, I had such a good time with you. Thank you so much for taking me here tonight. Oh, this spa, what a great experience it was tonight. Thank you. So even if you have, be grateful, say thank you. Don't act like you've been around all over the place, because all he's thinking is, he's probably been with 5 other guys that had money. What am I going to be doing? She's been around, okay? So keep that part in mind. He's thinking. He may not tell you this, but he's thinking about it, because many times we're thinking a lot of thoughts, but we don't tell you, but we're thinking it. So there you go. If you're upset, if you're happy, if you're glad you watched it, it's my perspective, okay? Whether you like it or not, these are some of my philosophies. Now, if you've never seen the video, 20 Rules for Young Men, click here to watch that video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.